I got interested in the Polish village paintings and making a different kind of painting. It was an idea that came from looking at a book Richard Meyer gave me about Polish synagogues. And it was a memorial to the Polish synagogues, 18th and 19th century synagogues that had been burned in the Nazi march across Poland. But what was interesting was that they were wooden synagogues, and the diagrams for the memorial showed the interlockingness of the carpentry and everything, and it was pretty interesting the way things really went together. There was something about traveling from Berlin to Moscow and burning everything down, and it reminded me of the fact that from Moscow to Berlin, and then actually in Berlin back to Moscow, was the root of constructivism. And so I started thinking about an idea of rebuilding, or a new way to rebuild painting. You know, up to now I'd been designing paintings or making drawings and then making them. But what about actually constructing paintings, building a painting? And then I started working on the drawings, and then from the drawings I started developing them as a kind of buildable system. I mean, the real problem in painting has always been the same one, to make art. And so it's really a question of how you make art. Shaping the canvas was something that, I don't know, I just drifted into it. It had an appeal to me. I mean, I was never sure how much an appeal it would have to anybody else, but I liked it. I liked the way it defined things, and it defined the gesture of the painting, in a way. Rather than having a painting full of a lot of gestures, the painting itself became a gesture. Make what you want to paint on, I think, is sort of would be my theme. I like to make the things that I'm going to then paint on. Abstraction is making painting that can stand by itself as an act of painting. And it doesn't need to, it can have any number and any kinds of references, but it doesn't depend on references to reality as we think we experience it. I mean, it's always hard to make abstract art. The problem for me is to make art, and that problem is defined by having, for me, to make abstract art, because I think that's the art worth making. If you can do it without reference to the mechanics of seeing that everyone takes for granted, but instead be able to incorporate in what you make that is seen the whole of your experience of being alive, then I think you've done something.